argues that an economy has to exist. Let me see, no, he says a social relationship must exist before you can have an economic relationships. Okay? Let me see if I can explain what his third part is saying. That a social relationship has to exist before you can have an economic relationship. Now, if I remember what was in the text, it's something like, let us say that you come to me and you decide that you want to borrow something or barter something, okay, or you're going to buy something from me. And I say, well, it really costs $10. And you say, well, I only have $5. What will I do? Until you will come back with me at $10. Okay? But sometimes you will tell me, well, look, as soon as I sell this and do so and so and so and so, I'll bring you the other $5. I say, okay. What is that? That is trust. Okay, that is trust. I trust that you're going to follow through with what you say. If I don't trust you, it's going to fall apart. Okay? So when he says that a social relationship has to exist before you can have an economic relationship, he really means that social relationships such as trust. Okay? And so what really happens is that sometimes you will even go so far as to contractually say, I will do so and so and so and so. But still the point is, I still have to trust that you're going to go through with your contract, with your contractual obligations. Okay? So, that's number one. Now what happens is that if you don't honor the contract and the relationships break down, then the economies break down. Now, arguably what he's saying is things like if you look at during time, notice everybody is honoring contracts all the time. But a country goes into war, and all of a sudden the economy breaks down. Now why? One of the things, if you look at things like the Civil War, the South was working and the North was working, everybody was doing everything fine, and then all of a sudden as the war went on, the contracts became less and less viable, especially for the South. And so that people who say, well, look, I'm going to loan you money, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. What happens? It breaks down. That's why, believe it or not, we have things like bankruptcy in our society. You got it? Bankruptcy says that the social relationship and the contracts or whatever happened here has broken down. And this person can no longer meet their liabilities. And so all the people that trusted that person is now they're in a lurch because they loaned them $100 and what they're going to get back is 2 cents on a dollar or 10 cents on a dollar. So they will either end up with $2 or $10, but not the $100 that they loaned. Okay? When that breaks down enough, the economy breaks down. And that's why you see businesses going out of business. Because one, they could no longer meet their obligations, the people no longer trust them, the people are not going to loan them any money, they're not going to do any of these kinds of things. You got it? Yes? But you understand how all of this fits in, okay? So it's a day-to-day type of thing, okay? Now, secondly, we have economies and cultures. And again, the economies are embedded in and reflect the cultural values of a society, okay? For instance, we in this country believe in a free market, okay? When we talk about free market, what we mean is that we have everybody goes out and they sell goods, and all we're trying to do is say they should make money. That's what our free market economy is about. Okay? But we don't accept that with all things, because some of the free market goes against our cultural values. Okay? The book is an example. Clearly, if I was a person who likes to sell children and have child pornography all over the place, I would become very wealthy. Okay? But that goes against the grain of the society. We don't believe in child pornography, even though we believe in making money. Okay? I'm a person who wants to sell drugs. Clearly, it's $1 billion, probably a multi-billion-dollar industry. Okay? But the society says no. It's against our cultural values to have drugs sold. Okay? So as a consequence, I have to do it under wraps. Okay? And that's what they're really saying, that the culture, even your economies, have to reflect your cultural values. And the culture says, yes, you can sit down and you can do all of those things, fine. Okay? But our culture says no. Okay? Now, the other thing that we should pick up is that the economies and other social institutions are intertwined. Our whole society is intertwined with social institutions. And there's a relationship between government and the economy. Okay? Now, what does your book say? You hear these people writing things like, I'm a self-made person. I set up this business and I didn't need the help of government, so why are you getting the help of government? So, your answer is, first of all, you cannot set up a business, except a legal business in this country, without being involved with the government. Okay? How does the government get involved? I set up a factory. How do you decide you want to set up a factory? What you have to do? You have to go to the city, say, I'm going to set up this kind of factory. Is it up to code? Come in and rubber stamp it. Come in the health department, come in and say, yes, I can set up this restaurant. Okay? The government's involved. Second, I set up the business. I need roads to come up and bring the goods to me. Okay? The government gets involved in licensing that. Okay? I turn around and say, for instance, when I want electricity, I want power, I have all those things. All of that shows me there's some government regulation someplace. The bottom line is that even when I get a license, I have to go to the government and say, I need a license to open up this store. You cannot do anything in this country without government involvement. And that's really what they're saying. And so when you hear these people saying, well, the government never helped me do anything, they put in the roads, they give you police protection. If your building burns down or start burning, the fire department comes, that's all government. Okay? So you have to bear that in mind. Now, it's very nice to say, I did this without government help. But the odds are, overwhelming odds are, it's not true. Okay? Now we have 2 or 3 problems, okay? We're supposed to be tested Thursday.